Welcome to the Domestic Supply Chain Summit. Today we are joined by Anoop Mohandas, a product manager at Crowley Corporation. Welcome to the summit, Anoop.
Thank you, Mary. It's great to be here.
I'm excited for today. AI is something that is very kind of on the tip of the nose, or not the nose, the tongue for people. Um, Before we get too far into that, let's get some background on you and how you got started at Crowley.
Sure. Um, I have been in the industry for nearly 2 decades. So when I first started, I was working in the mainframes, the green screens and all. And over the years, I have witnessed this incredible evolution of technology, which has always fascinated me. And when I joined Crowley, my mission was to help our operations to make data-driven decisions. Today, as a product manager, I'm responsible for building a digital robust building a robust digital ecosystem that empowers our customers in their digitalization journey.
So, I like that you've taken that, you're you creating things that like ultimately help people as, as someone who is a end user of many things. I like it when there's stuff that makes my life easier.
For sure, that's our mission and that's our goal.
So we're going back into the AI side of things, which it seems like I can't walk more than a foot in any supply chain situation without someone saying AI, 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 AI. And it's got a good connotation. It's also got like it's going to be the end of all of us, iRobot style. But we're really kind of seeing a huge impact on the supply chain side of things. So when it comes to integrating IA AI, when it comes to integrating AI into your supply chain, why is it becoming such a easy swap, and why is it kind of becoming like that critical thing that businesses can implement to kind of give them that competitive advantage?
Sure. So if you see like what is the advantage of AI in the supply chain, it's more kind of a strategic advantage that companies get by integrating AI into their operations. It can help optimize routes. Like some of the examples are like optimizing routes, streamlining the workflows, forecasting demands, and automating the task across the entire supply chain. And the thing with the AI, it's like unlike the traditional systems, it can spot changes, like recognize patterns, categorize information, summarize large volumes of data, and then understand the relation. So with all these functionalities of AI, it helps to keep every part of supply chain in balance, which means like the supply chain is more resilient. It's able to handle challenges like your freight recession that we are going through, or in the end of like natural disasters, or even handling the shipment volume during the peak seasons. Ultimately, like it not only helps businesses to have higher revenue, but also delivers a great values to the customers than what the traditional supply chain models can offer.
I think that that's something that is really important, and that's kind of that, it's not necessarily gonna be AI coming in to, replace an entire freight brokerage or replace entire shipper's operations. It's kind of what you can use, like, how you use AI as a tool more or less. Like, how can you really use AI for those everyday mundane tasks because there's
Exactly.
always going to be the exception that the one that doesn't quite follow it because we're in logistics, we're in supply chain, and sometimes things don't ever really go to plan. But there's always going to be that one that you're gonna like. It's never gonna fit the mold. It's gonna be some weird. It's gone wrong 10 different ways. It's a whole mess to go through. That's not the one that AI is going to come in and help. AI is going to come in and help the easy ones, the ones that are pretty consistent, the 90%, we're just processing things along. And I think I love that idea of introducing AI, introducing tools that help people get that done or just handle it themselves or have the AI handle it because that frees up those people who are used to doing the mundane, the everyday, and occasionally working on a problem, frees them up to really handle those exceptions and get to the root of, why is this happening? What is the kind of purpose behind this? Because if you kind of fix some of those errors that you don't know exist and you have the time to dedicate to figuring out where that problem is, I think that really frees up a lot more space and it does make you more resilient, faster to adapt to things, and more flexible because you're not stuck by these like random pinpoints that you're like, well, we don't know why it's happening. We just know it's happening. So we're going to push it on through.
That's very true, Mary. And if you see like across every industry, like the 80-20 principle works again over here. 80% of the challenges that we have, if you really say, it boils down to like 20% of the problems. And AI, it's like when we hear AI, you hear all the news in the media that it's going to replace the workers, it's going to shut down operations. But I don't see AI as that way. It's more, it's a technology. It's not. It's like the same thing that what happened to computers when they were introduced back in 90s. uh, but the way that we should be seeing it, it's more kind of a partner. It's more kind of an ally that you work with. It helps to optimize your operations. I mean, it helps to. That's an extra power that gives you to make that smarter decisions. I mean, you should be seeing that way. But change is it's hard always. Like it starts hard, and then people see like, okay, it's not. It's not like it's a friend that I can use. It's more kind of feel like a good friend that helps you in the tough times. I see AI that way always.
I think that that's a really good way to view it because ultimately it's a tool that allows you to do your job better. Kind of like you can have the best data analysis tool in the world, but until you have someone there to sit there and infer and make an actual actionable plan from that data, you just paid a lot for something that combines data together.
Exactly, exactly. And the way that we have been always doing it's like we go buy some expensive tools and then we spend a lot of time in building reports, dashboards using that tool. Now AI can come and then it's not I'm not saying replacing the tools, but it's more kind of it can spread that democratization of data across the organization. So that means like even though you don't have that skill set of how to use the tool, you can still go ahead and then ask the same questions in plain English, like what are the profits that I ran in this particular lane? Things like very basic question. Because if you see like what are the insights that business needs, they need answer for the challenges that they have. And they wanted to have it in a fashion that can be consumed easily rather than like looking through the graphs and then understanding the tables. They just want an easy way to understand it, a faster way to understand it, and sometimes something in real time. That's what they're looking for.
I I'm curious as to your thoughts as to what do you see so we have AI's role now and it's kind of very much it's kind of like an assistant, an automation tool, a way to help optimize things. Do you see that being the same role for AI in the supply chain maybe 3 years or 5 years from now? Like in the future, do you see it kind of staying how it is or do you see it kind of morphing into something else?
The way that we're gonna see that slow transition, it's like first it's gonna be part of the solutions. It's gonna enhance your solution. So let's say one big challenge we have in the trucking side, it's the empty miles. So how do we cut down the empty miles? The way that people do it's like matching. So AI can come and do that automatic matching and then understanding the driver domicile and then sending the driver back over the everything is automated now. So the time that the operator spends on setting up that whole equation can be just done by the AI. So it frees up the time to dispatch more loads. The same thing happens with everything, every other context. So let's say the billing, like because we have a lot of billing leakages because it's tough to really get all these PODs and then scan them and then understand that information. So it can come and then help these cut down these billing leakages. So the way that I see it, it's like it's slowly gonna part of the solution. The way that I see this is like it's gonna be part of uh, uh, the way that I see this is like it's gonna solve the challenges by adding a sen. I'm taking over. Okay. All right. Regrouping my thoughts. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the way that I say this is like it's more kind of it's a solution that can really solve your problems. It's more kind of an assistant. Um, we don't. I mean, we have like chatbots in the logistics industry, but we're gonna see a lot more of the chatbots doing multiple things like responding back to the queries of the customers, giving information to the operations things like that. And then building an AI solution, it's not easy. So it takes resources, it takes time. So we're going to see a lot of companies that offer the SaaS-based solution, their software as a solution-based products, and then companies are going to consume that. So who is in the market right now, spending time and money on the research, they're going to get that advantage. And then since AI is still a black box, it takes time for your management to really buy in. So one thing that I strongly recommend, it's like start small. Like get a project that's like that you understand, and then you understand like what is the end point. Start small and then try introducing AI to that so that you can justify that cost and return of investment to your management. So now it's like you get the buy-in from your management, you get the buy-in from your stakeholders, and then you can have a like an entire path or a roadmap for the future. So it's more kind of a transition, but you're gonna see that like integrating into your TMSs, your warehouse management systems, things like that, that you don't even feel, but it's there, and then it's gonna help you.
I like that it's kind of that unsung hero of it's coming in because ultimately AI does, what you put in, you get out of it. So if you're putting in good quality data, if you're putting in effort and you're setting good parameters, then you'll get out what you need. It's just a matter of making sure that you're putting in the content that you need to get out. Otherwise, if you put in garbage, you're going to get garbage out. Um, but I think that I like that idea. I also wouldn't be surprised if we see more kind of tailored to an individual's business, like versions of AI, where it's like, okay, because ultimately, like you just train it. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of those kind of boutique offerings of like it comes in as like a part of a consulting service or something like that. I would be curious if that's also on the horizon for it as well.
Absolutely, because and that's the best part of it. It's like you can't have a one fit solution that fits every business unit, because like everyone has like their own unique challenges, and then you got to train using the data of that particular company. So the way that it's going to work, it's like either like within the in-house or the companies that offer the SaaS based solutions, they're going to be working close with the customers or the stakeholders, and then the solutions needs to be tailored to the specific needs, because the problems with one company would not be the same with the problems with the other company. They would be using a completely different software. Their way of running businesses are very different. So most of the solutions needs to be custom made, but being to that, there is a high scope of having a lot of reusable components. So once you have these reusable components, they can be reused, so that's going to bring down the cost of the whole development. So things like that, so you got to see it in a mixed way. Yep, there would be customized solutions, but still there would be a part wherein you can still use a lot of reusable components.
I kinda like that idea, like, you start off in one area, and then you just slowly kind of tack on more things, and
Yep.
then you kind of get it to work as you want it. I like that part. We do have a couple minutes left, so I think we'll end on this one last question of what is kind of that one piece of advice or that one focus that companies should prioritize, like, right now to kind of have successful AI integrations? Because honestly, I think not doing anything or not exploring an AI option for your company will ultimately kind of leave you in the dust.
Yep. It's true. It's true. I mean, it's a time that people are always like taking a step back and seeing like if this is a right tool for your company. People are skeptical of like if their data would be out there for the public to use, because we are in a times where we are still understanding the technology, we're still understanding the mechanics behind it. People call AI as a black box, which truly it is. But the one thing that companies need to start is to put some framework on. So the one thing that companies needs to do today is to put some framework on their data. See like what is the quality of data. So to the point of like garbage in, garbage out has not been relevant. So to your point of garbage in, garbage out has been relevant like never before, because you can't just start this project just like this. So you can't all right. So you can't start a project just like that and then expect it to run up and running, because uh, the success of your project totally depends on the quality of the data that you have. And then the logistics market is quite notorious with that, because it's like we have a lot of people inputting the data, and then the data might not be accurate. So now you have a fund or you have a project that you want to run, and if the quality of the data is bad, then it's like whatever you try to do, it doesn't give you the results, which ultimately results in failure. And then you or the it happens is like the blame goes on the project that's doing the AI. Uh, it has nothing to do with that. It's because you had the bad quality data. That's the reason like why the project was not successful. So my thought, it's like the companies, even though they are not into the space of AI, or they are not kicking off any AI projects, they should be focusing on the quality of data, the data that they have. Some metrics is that shows like, hey, my quality of data, it's 97 percentage. Like I do have a strong data, because once you're ready with a strong quality of data, it's easy to be up and running, and then it makes a lot more sense rather than then going back and fixing your data, which is like very, very painful.
Yeah, it's definitely, I didn't think that just asking people to have reliable and clean data was such a big ask, but apparently it is.
It is. You might think so, but it's painful. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about all the time we have today. Anoop, if anyone has questions about, how they can maybe get some AI involved in their supply chain, where can they find you outside of the summit?
Just search for my name in LinkedIn, and then you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, and stay tuned for the rest of the summit.